tapping in. Thank y'all for tapping in to Yocuzpodcast, man. Y'all know who it is. It's Cuz. What's up, man? Y'all already know it's lit Thursday. Y'all already know, man. Listen, thank y'all for y'all support. Thank y'all for everything y'all doing for the page and for all my new subscribers. Thank y'all for tapping in. Now y'all are my YouTube family, man. Thank y'all for all the support. So listen, Uncle Trump going to sign another paper and he giving up some more money, y'all. Y'all already know, man. We're going to blame it on Trump, man. We got to blame it on Trump because Trump does it all. Like, Trump giving up billions and millions of dollars, man. But y'all already know he got something behind that. Uncle Trump got something behind that, and y'all know that. But guess what? Thank y'all for tapping into Yocuzpodcast. Make sure y'all subscribe, like, and drop a comment after this episode. We lit. Let's go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much. This is a big day and lots of people watching, and especially from other countries, the leaders of, as you know, the other countries, because we have a large group of leaders, and the ones that aren't here are watching on Zoom. I hope they enjoy it. And the press, we appreciate it very much, so respectful. You've been so respectful of what we're doing. What we're doing is very simple, peace. It's called the Border Peace, and it's all about an easy word to say, but a hard word to produce, peace. But we're going to produce it, and we've been doing a really good job, and some of these leaders that are with us have helped me very much during just this first year. We have a first year like probably no other ever in our country because we settled 8 wars.
If you're looking to learn how to trade, a community is very important, and I've joined.
And I think a night to come. It's turned out to be a tougher one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one. But with war, you never know what's easy and what's not so easy. But we've had a great relationship, and I've become friendly with so many of the people. And I appreciate you being here. These are great people. These are great leaders. And the people that are watching by closed circuit and open circuit in many cases. They're so proud of it. They want it to be open. But they become incredible friends of mine. And, we rebuilt our country in my first term, and now we're at a point that the United States has never seen before. We broke 50,000 on the Dow. They said that would take 4 years. We broke 7,000 on the S&P. They said you couldn't do that within 4 years. It would be impossible. And when I came in, they were all saying if he could get to anywhere close to 45,000, it would be amazing achievement over 4 years. Well, we hit 50,000 in the first year, and we hit 7,000, which was actually tougher to do according to the Wall Street geniuses. We hit 7,000 in the first year. They said it could take 4 or 5 years. They'd be very happy. It would have been a great job. We did it in one, but we're doing a great job. Border peace is one of the most important and consequential things I think that I'll be involved in. We've been involved in a lot, and really I've been involved in a lot with the people up here. We work together on ending wars with their country.
What's up, y'all?
Some of the wars were 32 years long,
Welcome
32, 34, 37. That's a long time, and we ended it in about 2 days, each one of those. But we have some other work to do, and we're getting it done. Gaza is very complex. It's been amazing. I want to thank Steve and Jared for an amazing job. Marco's over there watching. Everybody's fantastic. And JD, what a job. They're all doing. It's a team. I think it's the best team ever assembled. And you see that by the results. So today is a tremendous honor to welcome you all to the United States Institute of Peace. for the inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace. Very important. I believe it's the most consequential board, certainly in terms of power and in terms of prestige. There's never been anything close, because these are the greatest world leaders. Almost everybody's accepted, and the ones that haven't will be. Some are playing a little cute. It doesn't work. You can't play cute with me. But they're playing a little bit. But they're all joining. Everybody, most of them very immediately. A few that we really don't want because they're trouble. Take care of them. But this is the most prestigious board ever put together. I've seen some great corporate boards. I've seen some great boards, period. It's peanuts compared to this board, because we have virtually everyone is the head of a country other than Johnny, but he's the head of soccer, so that's not so bad, right, Johnny? I like your job the best, I think.
Welcome to the show.
And by the way, your World Cup has set every single ticket record in the history of soccer. In the history, nobody's ever seen anything like it. The sales are virtually complete. Nobody's ever seen anything. So congratulations, you made a good decision. We did it together. Thank you, Johnny. Great guy.
That's crazy, cuz.
So I want to thank the many leaders and dignitaries who have traveled great distances and lengths for the important gathering that we're at right now. This building was built for peace, and nobody knew what to name it. And then Marco named it after me. I had nothing to do with it. I swear I didn't. I swear. I had no idea. They said, there's a surprise coming. I didn't know the surprise. I thought they were going to give me a lot of money or something, maybe cash. You can always use some extra cash. But I came and they stopped the beautiful beast. I got out very safely, I'm sure, and looked up, and there it said, Donald J. Trump on the building. And when I say that had nothing to do, nobody believes it, and that's okay. But I appreciated it. That was Marco and JD and a group got together and they did that, and I just thought it was very nice. And it makes me work harder. We're going to have to work harder. We're going to have to make this building much more important. It's brand new. They built it for peace, but nobody occupied it. Nobody knew what the purpose of it. But the architecture is so beautiful, and it was with the meeting rooms, the reception rooms. It's really amazing. Who would think that it was built without anybody in mind or anything in mind, and then the State Department took it over. They liked it. Marco came over one day. He saw this. He said, this building is great. And he actually claimed it, right? He claimed it. And that's what he does. Where is Marco? I said, Marco, is that true? You claimed this building. You took it away from about 5 groups that wanted it. That was done very quickly.
They love Uncle Trump.
But it was really built so beautifully, in such a beautiful building. But we work together to ensure the brighter future for the people of Gaza, the Middle East, and the entire world. I think that the Board of Peace, because it's mostly leaders and unbelievably respected people, but mostly leaders of Middle Eastern countries from all over the world. And they've been very generous with money also. And the United States, which I'll say in a moment, is also very generous with money. Because there's nothing more important than peace. And there's nothing less expensive than peace. When you go to wars, it costs you 100 times what it costs to make peace. We have a man at the end right there that's smiling because you learned that after 30 years of fighting, right? 30 years of fighting, we got it done. I want to thank you very much. 7 billion, I think so. The great thing you did, you and your new friend.
I told you he take out money and do whatever with it. I keep telling y'all that shit. I've been
fighting for 22 years. Now you're there for 23 years, right? But I've been fighting for 22 years. That's all I've done is fight this gentleman. And his counterpart was there for 7 years. He said, I've been there for 7 years. All I've done is fight this gentleman. And we had it worked out in about 24 hours, right? And it's been a good piece of that. I think they've become friends. I'm not sure I'm allowed to say that, but I think so. I think they've become friends, right?
Right, you feel me?
Stand up.
Let's talk about that. You hear me? Let's talk about that, Uncle
These
Trump.
These are 2 tough cookies. You think that was easy? It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy.
People, good people, but tough people. But we're in the Oval Office, and we were getting near But the one was at one side of the room. I have two chairs right in front of the desk, the beautiful Resolute desk. One's over here. One's on the other side of the room. I said, folks, could you get a little closer? Well, I don't. They felt very uncomfortable. You know, they've been killing each other for 32 years. So I say, can you get a little closer?
They've been killing
After
each
1
other
hour,
for
they were right
32
next to each
years.
other. We made a deal. They hugged. They signed. And we had peace. The two very important countries. And I'll never forget it. So they started off a little weak, and they ended up really strong. And you can be very proud of yourselves. It was a beautiful thing to see. Thank you. Look at that. Do you believe it? 32 years. Thank you. Thank you very much. But we're honored to be joined today by Prime Minister Rama of Albania. Where is President Milei? You're another one, I'll tell you. Where is President Milei? I endorsed him. I'm not supposed to be endorsing people, but when I like people, you know, I've had a very good record of endorsing candidates within the United States. But now I endorse foreign leaders, including Viktor Orban, who's here, and others. And I endorse this gentleman, Milei. He was a little behind in the polls. He ended up winning in a landslide. I just endorsed the Prime Minister of Japan. She was in a tight race, but was probably going to win. And she won in the largest number
She's
in the
probably going to
history of
win.
Japan. So she likes me a lot. But it was an honor, and you're doing great. Oh, look, they're sitting right next to Victor. But ultimately, I think I'm going to end up endorsing. Hey, look, as long as it works, it's okay with me. But the endorsement seems to be working in foreign countries, too, so that's good. But nice to have you both. Victor, nice to have you both. Very proud of you. The Prime Minister of another, really just a great guy, Pashinyan of Armenia.
Energy X is making really, really good progress towards building.
President Aliyev of Azerbaijan. I love saying that name now. You know, at the beginning it was giving me a hard time. Now I love saying it. It's a beautiful name. I love it. His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa of Bahrain. Bahrain. Thank you. Thank you. Where are you? Where are you? He's so rich, he can sit there. He can sit wherever the hell he wants. You know, he could sit up in the corner. He could sit up top. He might take a piece of this building, Marco. He'll take 25% of the building for about $6 billion. Thank you. And you've been very generous also. We appreciate it. Prime Minister Hun Manet of Cambodia. Raise your hand wherever you may be. Because, yeah, hi, how are you? Congratulations. That was another one, right? We did a good job with that one. Prime Minister Madbouli of Egypt. Thank you very much, and say hello to the General/President. Okay. Prime Minister Orban of Hungary, who has my complete and total endorsement for election. Not everybody in Europe loves that endorsement, but that's okay. He does an unbelievable job. He's done an incredible job on immigration, unlike some countries that have hurt themselves, that they're working on it. But I just want to let you know, you have my total and complete endorsement, and I'm putting it out. I already did, but I'm putting it out again.
Listen to Trump.
And you're coming up with an election, and I think you should be good. I'll tell you, Milei did pretty well. He was a little down, right? And then he ended up winning in a landslide, so that's pretty good. You're going to do great, Victor. Thank you very much for being here. Appreciate it. You run a great country. A man that I really like a lot he's definitely tough. I don't want to fight him. President Prabowo of Indonesia. Thank you very much. Please. This is a big guy. I tell you, I said, how many people in Indonesia? He said, like 240 million. I said, no, say it again. How many? It's a big country you have. And you do a great job and respected by everybody. And thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Thank you very much for being here.
President Tokayev of Kazakhstan. Thank you very much. What a country that is. It's a wonderful country and a rich country, in case anybody has any question. We have some very rich people here today. President Osmani of Kosovo. President, thank you very much. Great job you're doing, too. Thank you very much. Prime Minister Sharif, I like this man, of Pakistan, because there was some fighting going on when I got to know him, and your Field Marshal, General, great general, great Field Marshal, a great guy. And I got to meet the Prime Minister. And he said in front of our Chief of Staff, Susie Wells, who's right here, he said, you know, nobody knows this, but I believe that President Trump saved 25 million lives when he stopped the war between us and India, right? You made that statement? I said 25 million lives. Could have been much more, actually. But it was really a beautiful thing. You said that in front of a group of people they walked out. They don't think about it, but you're talking about that kind of lives. That war was raging. Planes were being shot down, right?
Do y'all believe anything that he's saying? Like, really, like, he really went overseas and stopped a war, right? He really ain't stopped the war. He paid for the war to be stopped, right? So now he using our money to stop wars, right? He not using his money, but this is his idea, right? Because let me tell y'all something. One thing about Uncle Trump, right, is that he got a plot and a plan for something, bro. He not just doing that just to do that, bro. It's a mission that he trying to complete, man. Because he taking our money and spending it on shit like that, right? We don't know what's going on. We don't know what he said to them. We don't know. It's two countries that been fighting. So now he stopped the war. I mean, like, I really don't understand, bro. Like, I don't, bro. Like all this shit he doing, do y'all really think that the other presidents could do what he doing now? Because I'm not gonna lie, he doing a lot of shit. I'm not lying to y'all, man. You feel me? So what I'm saying this, right? Chat. This is what I need y'all to do, man. Drop this in the chat, man. If y'all think Trump doing the right thing, let me know, man. Because I'm trying to understand, because I'm fucking confused, man. For real, I'm really confused. I ain't lying. Let's go.
And it was Pakistan and India. And I got on the phone with both of them, and I knew them a little bit. I knew Prime Minister Modi very well, actually. I got to know Pakistan through a little trade. They were trying to make too good a deal, and I got a little upset with them. And in the end, they got what they wanted, right? And they made a good deal. And I got to like them, the Prime Minister, the Field Marshal, who's a tough man, a tough, good fighter, right? Good, serious fighter. I like good fighters, actually. And when I heard that they were fighting, I picked up a certain newspaper. I won't tell you which one, because it's fake news generally. But I picked up this newspaper, and I saw that and I called them, and I said, listen, I'm not doing trade deals with you two guys if you don't settle this up. They said, no, that has both of them. They didn't want to do that. I said, no, it has to. If you don't do it, I'm not doing a trade deal. We're not doing a trade deal.
Told you.
Your health deserves more than guesswork. At Prenuvo, our whole body MRI scans for hundreds.
And they do a lot of business with the United States, and they sort of softened up all of a sudden.
Yes,
all of a sudden, I read where there was a little bit of a pullback.
You already know it is.
And all of a sudden,
Real
we
soon.
worked out a deal, right? But I said, if you fight, I'm going to put 200% tariffs on each of your countries, which essentially makes you not allowed, you can't do any business.
Damn.
One of them, I won't say which one, said, no.
You hear this shit? Welcome to the show, bruh.
They both
this
wanted
nigga?
to fight. But when it came to money, it's nothing like money. When it came to losing a lot of money, they said, I guess we don't want to fight.
You heard what
And
he
we
said,
solved that
bro?
deal in 2-3 days, right? And we did. We said, these are two very powerful nations. These are two nuclear nations. And I don't want to say what was going to happen, but, bad things happen. So, Prime Minister, I want to thank you
I
because that
think
was a
Trump
big,
is
that was a
doing a
great big
fantastic.
deal.
Hey,
People have no idea. A lot of them say,
that's what it
"Oh,
seemed
well,
like,
they
right?
weren't fighting." They were fighting. 11 jets were shot down, very expensive jets, and they were all in. Both of them were all in, and now they're not. And I think we'll always be able to settle up with them. I really do. I think you're going to have, it's a lot of progress was made even in the relationship. And Prime Minister Modi also, he's a great man. He's a great guy. They're all great. But I was very proud of it. President Pena of Paraguay is here. President, thank you very much. Young, handsome guy. It's always nice to be young and handsome.
Trump, best president.
Doesn't mean we have to like you.
My 67.
I don't like young, handsome.
That's a lot of years,
men.
homie. That's a lot of years.
Women.
Welcome to the
I
show.
like.
402.
Men, no,
Welcome
I
to the
don't
show.
have any interest. Good. That's right. That's right. Thank you very much. You're doing a great job, too. His Excellency Prime Minister Al Thani of Qatar,
Excuse me.
a great man, a great man and highly respected. And he's working with a man who is amazing. I always say he needs a public relations agency because you do so much good and they have you down as evil. And you're not evil. You help us so much and you're such a good ally. And I just want people to know that. And the Emir is incredible.
Smart.
Smart as you can be. A great leader. And he cares so much for the people.
Did you like it?
He cares so much for the Middle East. So I want to thank you very much and send my regards. Your country has been a great help. So, surprising to some of the people writing out there.
What you think about what's going on?
I only tell the truth. Prime Minister Don of Romania, wonderful people. The Romanian people are fantastic, fantastic people. Like you're fantastic. And a lot of them come and work in this country and help us in this country, as you know. And it's they are just really, really solid people. President Mirziyoyev of Uzbekistan, who is where? There he is, and a friend of mine. You've got one of the most difficult names in history, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Your country's doing great. You're doing great. And just no problems. Every time I see him, nope, we're doing good. No problems. And General Secretary To Lam of Vietnam.
Oh, yeah?
Vietnam is incredible as a country and as a force. And it's an honor to have you. A really great honor.
Did you think Obama did a good job?
All the respect for your country. We'll also want to express my gratitude to Vice President J.D. Vance, who is a fantastic man. He's a fantastic talent. He was a great student. He went to one school. He graduated. Most people, if you watch some of the people that were at the event in Munich, they didn't graduate quickly from college. They had everything they could do. There was one young, attractive woman. She was unable to answer questions. And she didn't do so well like J.D. did in college. J.D. graduated in a 4.5-year college in 2 years.
All right.
And then he went to Yale and he graduated at the top of his class.
All right.
Went to the military grade. But when he went to Yale, there was one person that was marginally ahead of him. So he married her. Can you believe it? He married the person that was ahead. I don't know. I always like to say J.D. was first and Usha was second. Because I get a little uncomfortable when I say them. But he's been incredible. He's a brilliant guy and a great guy, and he's been my friend. All of our people. We have a fantastic group of people, our cabinet members, everybody, many of them here. But JD's been great. Thank you very much. It's a little bit tough on occasion. We've got to slow him down
I
just
voted
a
for
little bit
Obama twice.
He says his mind. Now, then we have the
no
opposite
longer
extreme.
Democrat.
We have your friend sitting in the back. Your
That's
best
crazy.
friend sitting in the back is Marco.
That's crazy. Welcome
Marco
to the show,
does it with a velvet glove, but it's a kill, right?
Welcome to the show.
The result is the same. They do it very differently. And Marco, you really did yourself proud 2 days ago in Munich. In fact, so proud that I almost terminated his employ because they were saying, why can't Trump do this? I do, but I say it differently. But Marco, don't do any better than you did, please. Because if you do, you're out of here.
He's serious.
But no, I want my guys to do great. And the acclaim he's gotten and the acclaim JD gets is great. We have smart people. And when you see the representatives there, like Gavin Newsom, he didn't know what he was doing. They didn't even know why. He didn't know why he was there. Or AOC, she was unable to answer a simple question. And she could have said, well, I'm studying it, and I'll report back to you next week. You can get away with that. But she just went, it's actually, I think it could be a career-ending answer, because for 25 years, anybody running against her, I think Susie is going to use that little piece of stuff. It was not good.
Got to go see you tomorrow.
I
see you tomorrow, brother.
So I want to thank JD. I want to thank Secretary of State Marco Rubio. They're extraordinary. I want to thank
you subscribe.
Special Envoy for Peace.
Make sure
Steve
you subscribe
Witkoff,
to the channel before you leave,
who
bro.
has been unbelievable. I took Steve because I was a developer in New York, really successful.
He ain't going to talk about
Actually,
that.
much more
right?
successful than Steve, but I don't want to
Trump
say
ain't going to talk about that.
I'm not going to say that, Johnny. I refuse to say it.
He ain't going to talk about
But
that.
I saw something in Steve. Steve's a great negotiator. Everybody loved him. All these developers, and they're tough. New York developers tend to be on the tough side.
Yeah.
And
he ain't going to talk about that.
most of them hate each other.
Y'all already know.
Like a lot of the people in this room hate each other. It's sort of natural, I guess. But we're
That nigga
bringing
said,
love back into the room.
People in the room hate each
But
other.
everybody loves Steve. Every developer, the worst, most evil people, horrible human beings, actually. And they love Steve.
They love
So I
Steve.
remember this, and we had some conflicts, to put it mildly, in the world. And I said, Steve, how would you like to be Henry Kissinger Jr. that doesn't leak?
Fact.
They said, are you a leaker, Steve? No. I didn't even know what the word meant, and it's true. I always say Henry Kissinger, who was one of the great leakers of all time, by the way.
Fact.
Richard Nixon said to him, Henry, who's leaking all this stuff? I don't know, Mr. President. It was Henry. It was like these are little stories I like telling you. But Steve has been unbelievable. Everybody likes him. Ukraine loves him. Europe loves him. Russia loves him.
He off the chain, ain't
There's
he?
nothing wrong with this. He goes to see President Putin. Didn't know Putin. I set him up a meeting to see. I said, how's Steve doing? Sir, he's still inside. Oh, that was an hour. I call back. Tell Steve to call me when he's finished. I want to find out what the hell is going on. We want to end that war. So he's still inside.
You want to end that
3
war?
hours, 4 hours. They were together for 4 hours, the first meeting. That's talent. And they get along. I mean, people like or don't like Putin or Zelensky. They get along. Same thing with Zelensky. I mean,
Trump want
they all love Steve, and Steve's doing a great
Trump
job.
want
That's a tough one.
everybody
That's
to
a much
get
tougher
along
one.
so they can spend that
I would
money.
have thought that some of the ones that we settled that are up here
Hey, Mo,
would
my
have been,
man off the chain,
would
Mo.
have been. I thought this would be easy because I
My
have a
man
very
off
good
the chain.
relationship with President Putin. I have a very good relationship with
My man
President
want
Xi. I'm going
everybody
to
to
be
get
going to
along
China
so
in
they can
April.
spend
That's
that
going to
money.
be a wild one. I said, but we have to put on the biggest display you've ever had in the history of China. Last time I went to China,
Real.
President Xi, he treated me so well. He gave me a display. I never saw so many soldiers all the same height, exactly the same height within a quarter of an inch. You can do that when you have 1.4 billion people. Lots of shoulders. Everybody was within about 1/8 of an inch the same height. I said,
Hell
if they put their helmets down,
You ain't
you
know
could have
that.
played pool on the top of their heads. And it was pretty amazing,
already
but
know
I
it.
said, you got to top it.
Trusting Donald
He
Trump
said, I'll
is like
top it.
trusting Rick
We're going to
James.
top
So
it. We're going to
watch
have
your
a lot of the
white
people,
woman
most of
till
the
you
fake
get
news
back.
back there is going to be gone. So we have Steve has done a
for
great
real.
job. And then
You better
a
not
little bit
trust.
later on,
Hey,
we brought
listen.
Jared in.
better not
Jared was
trust nothing
responsible for
Trump
the
say.
Abraham Accords,
I
which
just
is
want him to
incredible.
make the
Nobody else could have done that.
star
Very
popular.
smart
Okay,
guy.
fact.
And
Major
we're making
move.
Jared an
Major
envoy
move.
also.
You hear
Envoy
me?
of peace.
No,
They're both
you don't.
envoys of
Going
peace.
to surround
And you couldn't get
your
too.
money.
I tell you what, I watch these two
Fact.
guys. I say, at least we're covered from an IQ standpoint. These two guys walk into a room, and but people like them both. They're good people, and they like them both. And they've had some very good meetings. They've had some very interesting meetings having to do with, as you know, Iran is a hot spot right now, and they're meeting and they have a good relationship
He
with
got
the
the
representatives
words for
of
you,
Iran.
though.
And,
He do.
Good talks are being had.
Uncle Trump got the
It's
words
proven to
for
be over the
you.
years
It's not a
not
game.
easy to make a meaningful deal with Iran. We have to make a meaningful deal. Otherwise, bad things happen. but we have to make a meaningful deal. But they have a great relationship with the representatives.
Otherwise, bad things
They have
happen.
a great relationship with the other one that they're really working on now, because so many of these, I mean, as an example, Kosovo, Serbia.
I got that. All right.
I did that one. Could you stand up if any of you guys are, when you're here,
Okay.
just stand up for a second.
Don't
Kosovo,
smell
Serbia.
like a sandwich
Stand
that
up.
was left on the counter.
What a job. Thank you
Y'all
very
funny
much.
as
We
shit,
appreciate
bro.
it. So
Funny as
good.
a mug, man.
And you're getting along. And when you don't get along, you'll call me, and we'll get it solved, right? We'll get it solved. Thank you very much. Really good. And then again, Pakistan and India. That was a big one. And just, I think you should
Pakistan and
actually
India.
stand. Come, please. Stand just for a
He was
second.
wearing independent.
Pakistan
Yo,
and
come
India,
on,
thank you
Mo.
very much. And I spoke to Prime Minister Modi. He's excited. He's watching us right now.
Planning to publish your book? You could reach 3 billion more readers. If you've written
Egypt and Ethiopia. We're going to get that. You know, there's a little dam that got built. Little dam, like maybe the largest dam in the world.
You are showing.
Built and financed, of course, by the United States
He
brilliantly.
hyped, literally.
And having a little
Talking
trouble getting
crazy,
water to
Mo.
the Nile.
You bored.
It's not,
He
it's a
hyped,
tough
literally.
situation, but we're going to get that solved. Armenia and Azerbaijan, we talked about, and
Everything.
again,
What's
thank
up?
you
What are
fellas
you
very
going
much.
to
Great
do
job. Great
to
job.
help
Thank you.
America do this? They far. I don't know. You got to
Cambodia
talk
and
to him
Thailand.
about that.
So incredible what you did.
I'm
that
living my life.
You got
Yeah.
together and it all
You got to
worked
live your
out. They're
life.
watching.
You know me?
They're
You
watching
must be
right now on
talking about
closed circuit.
everything
Thank you very
besides
much.
helping
And
America.
thank you.
Facts.
That was a big one. Cambodia and Thailand. These are
What can you
nasty
do
fighters.
for the
I have to tell you.
What
These
can you
fighters are
do
nasty.
to help Americans? Cuz,
Now
what's up, cuz?
you talk
Welcome
nasty
to the show,
fighter.
cuz.
You're nice guys compared to this. Congo and Rwanda. That was, and we've got them
Man, see, he had nothing
pretty
to do with
peaceful.
it. Yeah.
There's little flare-ups every once in a while. I'll get a call once a week. Sir, there's a flare-up in the Congo again.
Like,
We'll
share,
get it
subscribe.
straightened
Tell
out,
them
right,
again,
Susie? We'll get it
cuz. Like,
straightened
share,
out.
subscribe, cuz. We lit.
And Israel, as you know, with you could say Israel and numerous countries if you want to really know the truth, but Israel and Iran, and we'll see where that goes. But when you think of Israel, we've done the biggest thing of all. We have peace in the Middle East right now. That's bigger than
Told you.
people said it couldn't be done for
He gonna build
3,000
some
years.
houses,
They've been talking
some
about Middle East. They said it couldn't be
casinos
done.
over there. Watch, I'm
And,
telling you, he got a
you look
he
at
got
what's
a trick
happened in
under his
Gaza.
sleeve.
And
Telling
one
you.
of the keys to it was when we took those beautiful, magnificent, we just ordered 22 more of them, updated model. The B-2
telling
bombers
you.
are incredible. I never understood the B-2
got a
bomber. I'd
trick on
watch,
his
it's a
sleeve.
wing. And I've never
I
quite
started
understood
telling
that,
the
Johnny.
truth. You
I'd look
better
at
tell
it
the
and say,
truth.
it's beautiful, but what does it do? It carries very big bombs.
Oh,
And
God.
it went into Iran, and it totally decimated the nuclear
Foul, please.
nuclear
That
potential.
man ain't gonna show
And when
no
it did,
fouls, man.
when it decimated that,
First,
all of a sudden we
well,
had peace in the Middle East
focus
because
on
nobody,
you.
there was a black cloud
Exactly.
hanging
You
over the
gotta
Middle
focus
East.
on the
And
youth.
if that wasn't done,
You hear me?
that
Nah,
cloud
for
would have been
real.
there. And
He going to be
countries
the
like
big.
Saudi Arabia, countries
Yup,
like
he is.
Qatar, countries
fact.
that nobody could have signed. You would have had
Trump is black, man.
that threat.
Best friend.
Nobody could have had.
No way,
we could have
David.
peace in the Middle East.
No
So now
way.
we may have to take it a step further, or we may not.
He
Maybe
going
we're
to
going to make a
jail.
deal. You're going to be
Trump going
finding
straight
out
to
over the
jail.
next probably 10 days.
He going straight to jail, bro.
But this meeting today is proof with determined leadership, nothing is impossible. When I took office, the war in Gaza was raging with thousands of people being killed and no end in sight. Today, thanks to unrelenting diplomacy and the commitment of many of the great people in this room, we have 59 countries signed up on Gaza. Think of that. We have, it's amazing. But all the people, many, really so many in this room, the war in Gaza is over. It's over. There are little flames. Hamas has been.
You heard what he
I think they're
said.
going to give up
In
their
Gaza,
weapons,
the
which is
war
what
is
they
over.
promised.
He got
If
to
they don't, it'll be,
yes,
you know,
he
they'll
do.
be harshly mad,
So
very harshly mad. They don't want that.
You know.
And all the stuff like they don't mind dying.
No, for real, Chris.
They
Yes,
told me
he
that's not
do.
true.
I'm telling you. You know he
Everyone said,
do.
oh, they don't mind dying. No, they don't want to die. They said,
Well,
we
he
don't
go-
want to
yeah.
die.
He ain't going to
We
jail
don't
right
wanna
now.
die. The ceasefire was
But
held,
you start spending billions.
and every last
Right.
remaining hostage, both living and dead, has been returned back home. Think of that.
Nah,
That was an
for real.
impossibility. And we did hundreds of hostages, but the last 20, and I
That's
always
what I'm
said
saying.
to Steve and Jared, I
Do
said
y'all
the last
think
20 are going to be very
boom
tough.
is a good thing?
Very, very tough. And we got them back. We got the living back, and then we only got about 16 of the dead. And we said, well, you got to get them all. You promised them all. And they dug and dug and dug. You can imagine
He going
it's
to
a
jail
job that's
before
brutal.
he eat his next
And
baby.
Hamas
That's crazy,
really did a
Mom.
lot of that work. And you got to give them credit for that. They brought the last one home a week ago, and we got all 28 of them, living and dead. The amazing thing, because I've never seen anything quite like it, the parents of the dead,
Love
they
you
knew
in the
their boy was
house.
dead.
Anthony,
This
what's
case,
up?
boys, all boys, men, but to the parents' boys. They knew their boy was dead. They wanted that dead body as much as if he were alive. And when they got them back, there was great sadness, but there was great joy, too. They wanted it as much as the people that got their sons back alive. But we got a lot of people before those 20, Steve, what nobody talks about. But, hundreds of people. We did a good job, and you guys did a
Wait
fantastic
for her
job. I
arrest,
want to thank every nation that helped us achieve this monumental breakthrough, saving countless lives.
That's crazy.
And
Nobody don't
really
want to hear that,
bringing
bro.
peace
Get
and
off my
bringing the
page with
concept
that.
of peace,
Nobody
because
want to hear
nobody
that.
thought peace in the Middle East. I've always
Get
heard
off my
peace in the
page with
Middle
that
East is
shit.
impossible.
Nobody definitely don't want to hear
And
that.
it's turned out not to be. And we do have some work to do with Iran. They can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. They can't
Right.
have. You can't have peace in the Middle East if they have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah. That nigga gonna
And
put
they can't have a
casinos
nuclear
over
weapon.
there.
They've been told that very
He gonna
strongly.
put, that's where he gonna
Since the
put the
hard-won
electricity joint
ceasefire of
at.
last
Watch.
October, the United States and our partners have
German about
facilitated the delivery of vast amounts of humanitarian aid,
No
numbers
way.
that nobody's ever seen before.
No, you tripping.
In November, the United Nations
Why would
Security
folks
Council
say
unanimously
think
approved the
about
Board of
just
Peace.
say why we
And last month in Davos, we
Who
welcomed
knows,
over
bruh?
24 members to this
That's
very
they
important
puppy.
new organization. And we are very
For real.
closely working with the United Nations. In fact,
Boy
I'm
and
going to
guns are
speak
not
to
finished,
the
huh?
Secretary General.
It
I
ain't
know
no
Al is
more
a good
war.
man.
He just paid them
And
people,
I've had
Joe,
a
to
good
stop
relationship. Other than in my last speech, they did
the war.
turn off my
He paid
teleprompter.
him.
I got up there.
He paid
My
him, bro.
teleprompter didn't work. I'm sitting in front of all of you people and more.
He paid him.
So I said to him, no, Nigel, not without the breed. And
I had no teleprompter. I knew I was in trouble because I'm walking up. You know, the teleprompters are over. I had the most beautiful speech ready.
I think anybody.
I was all set to knock him dead.
Yeah, right.
First, I had an escalator that
Yes.
stopped. You know that.
Yes,
Going
and
up, boom.
yes, and straight to
Lucky
jail.
my
Yes.
Movie star first.
They need
lady
to go
was
straight to jail. It don't
in front
matter
of
how
me
much money they
as I
got.
put my
Send their
hand in a
ass out
certain
of
part
there.
of her body, and I was able to stop my fall. Otherwise,
for
but she had
real.
no trouble. I said, boy, that was a very sharp stop, Johnny. So I said, that was strange. I've been on a lot of escalators. It's never happened before. Usually it stops
Hey,
very slowly. This was just boom.
it's Trump, bro.
Our
You
first
already
lady
know,
was
bro.
right in the proper location for me.
It's Trump.
I'm waving to people, and she was holding on a little tighter. She knew what was happening. She did. She said, "See, that's a very successful movie out right now, like #1. Can you believe this?" And it's a big movie star. And I always say it's trouble because I always say there's not room in one family for 2 stars. I told her that we can't have 2 stars in one family. So I don't know what that means, but it's not good. But it is good because we're proud of her. She did people in the United States love the First Lady, and she did the movie, and it's become the biggest selling documentary in 20 years. Can you believe? The theaters are all packed.
Yeah,
Women
'cause of
especially,
you.
They go back and they see it 2 or 3
All
times.
your
4
supporters.
times.
That's why her movie
But
sold
together we're
out like
committed
that.
to achieving a Gaza that
Right,
is
you feel
properly
me?
governed
That's
throughout.
why. Duh.
The whole area is going to be, so many countries that have really nothing to do with the Middle East, but they're maybe somewhat close by. They're all involved. They
all
want to go in and
involved.
fight. They tell me all the time, we'd like to send soldiers to fight if it's necessary. And I don't think it's going to be necessary. We have 2 countries that want to go in and do a number on Hamas. I said, I really don't think I hope it's not going to be necessary because they made a promise and they promised me get rid of their weapons. Looks like they're going to be doing that, but we'll have to find out.
You heard him?
But It's no
He
longer
said,
a
I will get rid of
hotbed
their
of
weapons.
radicalism and terror.
All he do is lie.
And to end that, we have today, and I'm pleased to announce that Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan, UAE, Morocco, Bahrain, Qatar, Saudi Arabia,
That'll be crazy.
Uzbekistan, and Kuwait have all contributed more than $7 billion toward the relief package. That's great. Thank you, fellas. Thank you. And many more are contributing too. So
That's crazy.
This just started. This is our first meeting. But every dollar spent is an investment in stability and the hope.
That man lying.
Harmonious.
This guy is a damn fool.
It's a region that's so important. It's so vibrant. It's
ain't
so
nothing free with Trump. Ain't nothing free with Trump.
Harmonious Middle East. The Middle East is amazing.
Ain't nothing free with Trump, y'all.
In the Middle East.
Y'all already know.
Smart. Sometimes they're
no
too
way.
Energetic. That's the a lot of people aren't energetic. Sometimes they're a little bit too energetic. These are great people. The world is now waiting on Hamas, and that's taking place. And it's the only thing that's right now standing in the way. We have Lebanon with certain things that we're working on that are very important. We have to solve the problem.
Fuck out of here. No, bruh.
Relatively small in terms of
fuck out of here,
man. And again, the key was getting rid of the nuclear potential, because Iran would have had a nuclear weapon based on everything we found out since within 1 month. We can't let that happen.
Family anyway.
So many of our friends in Europe
are
attending today, and we're
I ain't never watched the show.
Have them become full members. They all want to become full members. We've had a great response from Europe. And Europe is, it's where I come from, where so many people come from that are in the United States. But we have a great relationship with Europe. We have a great head of NATO. He's a fantastic man, and he's doing a great job.
Facts, bro.
Really great job. I'm excited.
He ain't gonna go to jail because he's the president. He ain't gonna go to jail because he got money.
Bringing together the board of
that
peace.
Nigga don't want all this cases.
When I saw this note, I'm excited to announce that Norway. I thought they were going to say that they're giving me the Nobel Prize. Oh, this is less exciting. Oh, it says, I'm excited to announce that Norway, and I'm saying, oh, great, I'm getting the Nobel Prize. Finally, they got it right. But I don't care. I don't care about Nobel Prize. I care about saving lives, just so you understand. We play and we all, do what we have to do. I only have one thing. I don't want to see people killed from parts of the world that are very far away from the United States. And if I have an ability to turn off wars, I want to use that ability, because it's people, millions of people.
Have you ever seen people flipping houses and say, man, I wish I could make money like them? They've got dumpsters there. They've got contractors going.
It's like the Prime Minister said, 25 million people maybe. And that's a small number compared to what it could have been if you really think about it, right? No, I want to save lives, and I don't care about prizes. In the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Assistance is raising $2 billion.
$2 billion.
For the
there
support
it is.
of Gaza.
There it is.
Additionally, Japan is just committed to host an aid fundraiser, which will be a very big one. It's already successful. We know some of the numbers that are being talked about, which will be attended by other nations in the region, including South Korea, the Philippines, Singapore, and others. And I know that China is going to be involved, and I think Russia is going to be involved. I think they will be. I want to have everybody, get all sides, because it doesn't help when you have all sides with one ideology. You have to have everybody together for this. I'm also pleased to announce that FIFA will be helping to raise a total of $75 million for projects in Gaza. And I think they're soccer related, where you're doing fields and you're getting the greatest stars in the world to go there. People that are bigger stars than you and I, Johnny. I hate to say it. I met one of your great stars who came to the White House, as you know. And my son was very excited. He's a great people. These are great people. And Johnny's going to bring the stars to the area. And they're really known. People in Gaza know every one of them, right? Mm-hmm. So it's really something. And We'll soon be detailing the announcement, and
He stopped
if
the
I can
war.
I'll get over there with you. I want to
And
thank
God, he stopped
Johnny
the
and
war.
FIFA for all of the wonderful things they did and are doing. They gave me their first Peace Prize. They gave me a Peace Prize. I think they saw that I got screwed by Norway, and they said, let's give him a Peace Prize. I mean, very good. Thank
They
you,
were
Johnny. I
famous
appreciate it.
people.
Johnny's very
That
smart.
business
It's very, very smart.
No,
The nations represented here today, just in closing, are not just contributing money. Some are also pledging personnel to help preserve the ceasefire and secure a very enduring peace. We have to have enduring peace. Having peace, knowing it's going to blow up in 2 weeks, doesn't mean anything. In particular, Indonesia, thank you very much. Indonesia. It's a great country. Thank you very much. Look at that man. Look how tough he is. You think it's easy dealing with him?
He's a bluffing
Look at that face. You are
motherfucker,
a
boy.
tough cookie.
Look at
And we
this
say it
nigga,
lovingly,
Mom.
too. We need strength.
You are a tough
He
cookie
says, he
face
doesn't
ass.
mind. He's tough and he's smart.
And
smart is
tough and he's smart.
more important.
He don't even know him.
Morocco, thank you very much. Great. What you're doing is great. Albania, Kosovo, Kazakhstan have all committed troops and police to stabilize Gaza. Egypt and Jordan are likewise providing very, very substantial help, troops, training, and support for a very trustworthy Palestinian police force. We think we're getting some very good people in that police force.
Yes.
You know, it's peace in the Middle East. We have peace
I
in the
ain't know
Middle
how
East.
crooked they was like that out here, man.
Peace in the
This
Middle
shit
East, and
real.
everybody's
It's
saying
real
it's
talk
impossible.
shit.
All of
I
these
didn't know how
countries are
crooked
working
they was.
together
They
around
crooked
the
as shit,
vision of
bro.
a Middle East that is free from the curse of extremism and terror. And now is time. And by the way, even people with extremism and preaching extremism, they're exhausted. They're tired. It's been going on for too many years. I don't care who you are. They're tired. They want peace. And now is the time for Iran to join us on a path that will complete what we're doing. And if they join us, that'll be great. If they don't join us, that'll be great too. But it'll be a very different path.
You already, he
cannot
always
continue to
threatening
threaten the
somebody,
stability of
bro.
the entire region, and they must make a deal. Or if that doesn't happen, I maybe can understand. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But bad things will happen.
Damn.
If it doesn't. With the commitments announced today, the Board of Peace is proving that it does
bad
not
things gonna happen
just
if
convene
it doesn't
countries.
happen.
It devises and implements, and real solutions happen. We've come up with solutions. This is so little talk. This is very little talk, all action. First time. It was always talk in the Middle East. People would talk about peace in the Middle East, and then they'd go home and they'd never even think about it again. Nothing would happen. We're providing a model for how responsible sovereign nations can cooperate to take responsibility for confronting problems in their own regions. The Board of Peace is showing how a better future can be built, starting right here in this room. And I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace.
10 billion.
And we've had great support for that number. And that number is a very small number when you look at that compared to the cost of war.
Riverside helps with the entire process of making a podcast, from recording to edit and even...
That's 2 weeks of fighting.
Don't know.
It's a very small number. It sounds like a lot, but it's a very small number. So we're committed to $10 billion. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war, suffering and carnage. They say 3,000 years. And hopefully we can lift up the eyes of the world to envision how other intractable conflicts can be settled. So many conflicts, they say, are impossible to settle, and we get them settled. We got, of those 8 that we settled, most of them were said to be not settleable.
Not sellable.
They not only got settled, they got settled within days. More impossible problems can be solved as we go along this very beautiful path. I think it's a beautiful path. I think it's such an important day. Even the weather's beautiful. We walk in, it's beautiful. Everything's beautiful.
My man ain't got nothing else to talk about.
Be healed, and they are indeed ancient. This has been going on for so many centuries that our entire planet will be a better, safer, more beautiful, and more peaceful place for us all. We're going to be working with the United Nations very closely. We're going to bring them back. I think the United Nations has great potential, really great potential. It has not lived up to potential. The 8 wars, I never even spoke to them about one of them, and I should be speaking to them about all of them. Someday I won't be here. The United Nations will be, I think, is going to be much stronger. The Board of Peace is going to almost be looking over the United Nations and making sure it runs properly. But we're going to strengthen up the United Nations. We're going to make sure its facilities are good. They need help, and they need help money-wise. We're going to help them money-wise. And we're going to make sure the United Nations is viable. And you have some very good people at the United Nations, can do a good job. But as I said, I've said it for years, United Nations has tremendous potential. A lot of people didn't like what I said. They said, oh, you shouldn't say that because, we don't care about the United Nations. No, it's really very important, and I think it's going to eventually live up to potential. That'll be a big day. So I want to thank everybody for being here. You're my friends. You're great leaders. You're great people. And I can honestly say, you're strong leaders. You're tough leaders in many cases. And every single one that I'm looking at that's right here, I've gotten to know and I've gotten to respect. And really, you're friends of mine. And if I can help you at all, you let me know. But this is going to be something, the Board of Peace will be something that the likes of which I don't think anybody's seen before. And thank you all very much. It's a great honor. I'm going to ask J.D. Vance to come up and say a few words. Thank you very much.
There go the bullshit. I'm from UK. I really don't know what he is on about. Money. Trump money, bro.
Thank you, Mr. President, very much for your leadership, but also for the kind words about me personally. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, but then after the president said that I was so smart and that I didn't want to repeat our congresswoman who froze for 20 seconds over in Munich, now I'm tempted, sir, just to freeze for 20 seconds.
There you go.
And just stare at the cameras, and maybe they'll say nice things about me like they do about Congresswoman Cortez. But I have 3 very brief messages. First of all, to the President of the United States, but to the entire team, to Marco, to Steve, to Jared in particular, who've done such an incredible job. I think what this Board of Peace represents is a recognition that if you actually have a President of the United States and a team that's committed to diplomacy, it can actually work. When I look at what happened to Israel on October the 7th, all those innocent people who were murdered, the fact that you had all of these hostages, and of course, a terrible war that came from it, I remember thinking to myself, how is it ever going to be possible to get these hostages home safely, to make it possible for the people of Gaza to actually have a reasonable future, but also to ensure that Israel is never attacked again? It turns out the answer was you just needed a president who was committed to the effort and committed to the work, and that's what we had, thankfully, under the leadership of this president. And you got to make peace, but then you have to make the peace stick. And that brings me to my second point. That's what the Board of Peace, I think, is fundamentally about, is making the peace stick. And it's an incredible thing that you guys have all done. So to all of the leaders gather here today who are investing in the future, who are investing in peace, we're grateful to you. We're grateful for your partnership. And in particular, I think to the President of Azerbaijan and the Prime Minister of Armenia, who I just saw last week, thank you all for making it possible and for showing what real leadership can accomplish. When you set aside weapons and killing and destruction and invest in your people and invest in prosperity, it can create great things. So thank you both for what you did. I think it showed great leadership.
That was a big move.
And finally, to the American people, I think it's important that the American people recognize why we're here today. And the reason that we're here today is, yes, to save lives and, yes, to promote peace, but this creates incredible prosperity for the American people. The countries represented here represent trillions of dollars of investment in the United States of America that would not have been possible without this president's leadership and advocacy for peace. The economies here represent millions of American jobs of people
David,
who
you
are
always hopping
receiving
on the
products
show,
built
bro,
in American factories and made by American workers would not be possible without a focus on peace. So, Mr. President, while I think this is great for the world, I also think it's really, really great for the United States of America. So we're looking forward to the partnership. With that, I want to turn it over to the MC for the rest of the program, and that is our great press secretary, Carolyn Levitt. Thank you.
Well, congratulations, Mr. President and Mr. Vice President, for convening the first ever Board of Peace meeting, and we will now hear from our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio.
IQ of 85 to 115 is considered average in the U.S.
I'll be brief and to the point. We want to talk a little bit about the strategic vision of this organization and begin doing so by first acknowledging that we are here today because the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, has both an ability and a willingness to use the power of his office to think outside the box. And that's why we're here today. This was a very unique crisis in Gaza, one that the existing international institutions could not solve or figure out. It needed a very specific type solution that required the partnership of all the nations that are here, including those that are here on an observer status. And we appreciate you coming today and being a part of this as well.
Of course.
And that's the point I want to drive home today. You'll hear from Steve and Jared, who, by the way, deserve an incredible amount of credit for pulling this together and working countless hours and traveling all over the world. They truly deserve our appreciation and thanks for the work they've put in under the leadership of President Trump to make this possible. This Gaza situation was impossible to solve under orthodoxy, under existing structures. And so what we did is they went to the UN, and they got the UN's approval to put this group together and bring these nations together to come up with a very specific solution to a very unique and specific problem. We have a long ways to go. There's a lot of work that remains. It will require the contribution of every nation state represented here today, and we thank you for being a part of it. And we hope that this can serve as a model for other complex and difficult situations so they can be solved in the same way. But right now the focus is on this one. We have to get this right. There is no plan B for Gaza. Plan B is going back to war. No one here wants that. Plan A, the only path forward, is one that rebuilds Gaza in a way of enduring and sustainable peace where everyone can live there side by side with one another and never worry again about returning to conflict, to war, to human suffering, and to destruction. And again, Mr. President, thank you for having the vision and the courage to pursue something that has never been done before, and we're not done yet. And thank you to Steve Woodcock and Jared Kushner for the time and the work they put into this. And thank you on behalf of the State Department and the U.S. government to all of the nations that are here. Every one of you is indispensable, including our observer partners, who we hope can find your way to join us at some point.
Oh, that's crazy. Now, that's crazy, bro.
Thank you, Marco. We will now hear from our special envoy, Steve Woodcock.
The toasted chicken be just about my head pretty good.
Thank you, everybody, for being here. I don't know if we ever believed that this was possible when we first started envisioning a board of peace. But, of course, under the president's indispensable leadership, and it begins with that. It begins with President Trump's leadership and his direction. We are here today, and it's pretty amazing. I think we have some people to thank. We had an amazing partnership between the mediating countries, Qatar, Egypt,
that nigga stopped the war. You know he's going to talk his shit now. He done stopped the whole war. Oh, y'all know he's going to stop his shit now.
Ali, thank you for everything you did. That's you right over there, Ali. Wherever Hakan is, Hakan, you were amazing. And so was Ibrahim and President Erdogan, and of course, to the Egyptians, Badr, I know you're smiling because we went through so much. And General Hassan was amazing. We all became friends here. And Prime Minister Sisi, President Sisi, pardon me. And so many others. But our team, JD, your insight, your counsel, and Marco, you're an amazing secretary.
Yeah, I went through that today.
It's a privilege to work for you.
Had zero leadership.
Jared, you are my dear friend and the best partner I ever had. You are an amazing person.
Get shit done.
But Mr. President, it is my greatest honor to work for you. It is the blessing in my life. I've had many blessings. I don't have to be a practicing lawyer anymore. But this is my greatest blessing. But I also have to mention one other person who is important to this discussion. Oh, the Israelis, I forgot.
Absolutely.
Prime Minister Netanyahu. Without him, much wouldn't have been accomplished as well. And that's really important that we acknowledge him here today, and Ron Dermer. But a person who doesn't care much about the acclaim, we have to acknowledge too, and that's you, Sissy. Because I would come back and you would say to me on every trip, what can I do for you? This matters.
It's true, bro.
You are an inspiration for all of us. So I thank everybody, and let me get on to, am I going on to the next slide?
Sure.
Caroline?
Of course, you know that.
So, with regard to the hostages, we're here today, again, I say it, I know it sounds redundant, but we're here today because of President Trump. Without him, none of this was possible. There were 251 hostages. 168 came out alive. 83 bodies were returned to their families so that they could grieve and remember their loved ones like in a normal way, in a way that brought their families together. So that was just as important.
Trump doesn't care about
this
you.
was a monumental
He care
effort,
about us.
and I want to tell a story about the president.
I guess, right?
Every time a hostage family came to visit with us, they were not on the president's schedule. I would walk down to the Oval Office. I would tell the president that there was a hostage family here, and he would say, "Steve, bring them up." Every single time.
Alan. That makes sense.
When we got the last 20 out,
big facts.
We had a celebration at the White House, and I could see the emotion on the president's face. And he came up to me and he said to me, "I have to tell you, this is my fifth year in the Oval Office.
I don't need like holding conversations about that. I ain't got nothing wrong with it.
Than this moment with these people, seeing them come home.
I ain't got nothing wrong with it. Probably, maybe."
And I said to the president, "You have to look around because none of them would be home without you, sir. None of them." So I only want to tell you, Mr. President, you gave me my greatest honor to work on this on this effort, and I thank you.
Wireless, you can clear your desk setup and just plug the USB-C receiver into your computer.
Listen, man, we got another banger. Got another banger for y'all, man. I told y'all love Uncle Trump. So guess what? I'm gonna give y'all Uncle Trump tonight. Let's go. Look, they love that nigga. You hear me?
This is a nice full room. You know, we have a ballroom being built right now. So
Cody said, "We love you."
A year and a half, we'll be able to have about, I'd say, 10 times the number.
President Trump hold a Black
Invite some
50
friends
month
that
event
couldn't make it today
at the
because,
White House.
frankly, this was a sold-out crowd. Has been ever since I've been president. Every year it's been sold out. So a lot of great friends. This is your knockout panel, okay? For those that are interested, see that curtain? You open that curtain, and it's a beautiful funnel right into the most beautiful ballroom. It's being built right now.
I will.
So it's pretty.
Okay.
And they wanted it for 150 years. We're getting it done a lot. We're getting a lot of other things done, too. Well, I want to thank you all and welcome you to the White House on this very special occasion. It is indeed. I've been at every one of them, and we celebrate the 100th anniversary of Black History Month. That's a big deal. 100.
He's giving away all money for
Wow, that's sort of special. The 100th. That's about as like 150 is good, but 200's better, right? 100's better. I want to begin by expressing our sadness at the passing of a person who I knew very well. Jesse was a piece of work. I want to tell you, he was a piece of work.
I gotta wait till the video
He was a
go
good
on.
man. He was a real hero.
Yep.
And,
You already know.
I just want to pay my highest respects to Reverend Jesse Jackson. He's a good man.
It is being built. And they
He's
get
actually, as you got to know him, he got better and better all the time. A lot
in the White House.
of people, you get to know him, they get worse and worse. Jesse got better and better. But I knew him well long before becoming president, and he really was special with lots of personality, grit, and street smarts. You would say Jesse had serious street smarts, right? A very important ingredient to life, I will tell you. He was gregarious and someone who truly loved people and a force of nature. He was somebody that we're going to greatly miss. And on behalf of everyone here today, I know you join me in sending our condolences to the entire family. Had a great family. We're also honored to be joined this afternoon by many exceptional African-American leaders and patriots, including Secretary Scott Turner, recommended. Where is Scott? Where is Scott? Will you come up here, Scott? He was recommended by somebody who's very special to me, Ben Carson. Ben Carson. Where's Ben? Where's Ben?
He definitely ain't doing it out of his
Come on
heart.
up here, Ben. Come
That
here.
nigga doing it for money,
I gotta
bro.
get here. And his wonderful
He's
wife,
doing it for
Candy.
money.
Candy, I'm going to steal Ben
He's
for a
trying to
second
get black
because,
people on his side.
Ben,
That's the only thing
Ben
that is.
recommended
That shit
Scott.
phony.
And when Ben recommends somebody, I just do it. Did I make a
Right,
good
exactly.
decision? Be careful. Don't fall,
You
Ben.
feel me? Look at them,
If
though.
you fall, that's
They
the end.
geeked out.
It's never,
Look at
you can
them.
never
They
recover
geeked
from
out.
a fall. You know, if you can make the greatest speech ever, but if you
Right.
fall, my predecessor taught me that. So is Scott doing a good job, Ben?
You think that money is gone.
Excuse me, sir. How old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for.
Come on, say that. I like that.
Trump, remember that New York.
One of the reasons I was so high on Scott Turner is he was really the driving force behind the opportunity zones, which was
at all,
which doesn't get nearly the attention that it should, but it was because President Trump realized that the best way to get things
you
done
already know. Look at
is
him.
through public-private partnerships.
Look at them.
And have everybody with skin in the game. And it is working, as are all the other things that he's been recommending. And at some point, the mainstream media will recognize that you don't politicize everything. You open your eyes and your ears, and you look and you see what works, and you deal with that. But the best thing about Scott, he's got a lot of energy. You know, I'm an old man now. I'll be 75 on my next birthday. And I'm not like President Trump. He just goes forever. But no one else is like that. But Scott Turner, we call him the Energizer Bunny, and he is doing a fantastic job. And I want to congratulate all the people at HUD because most of them have come back and continued with what we're doing during the first Trump term, and it's fantastic.
No, for real. Right in our face. Crazy.
Well, just very briefly, thank you, Mr. President. We are so grateful for your leadership and for your heart for America. And Dr. Carson, who is a tremendous just leader, servant leader, and been a great mentor to me. And, you know, I never thought that I would see the day where I'm standing between the president and Dr. Ben Carson. That's pretty cool. Yeah. And so I just want to say to everyone that's here, you know, as we celebrate this special day in not only Black history, but American history.
I guess, right?
This year that we've been here, you know, under President Trump, the Lord has been so gracious to us.
Say Trump one more
and he's been faithful,
time,
and the president has been a tremendous leader in his work ethic, his heart for people. And when he says America first, he really does mean America first.
True. Yes, you're right.
And so, and to be able to stand on the shoulders of Dr. Ben Carson and for the president to trust Dr. Carson at his word is truly humbling for me. And so to stand now as the servant leader and the secretary of HUD, I'm grateful to the Lord. I'm grateful to the president and Dr. Carson. And I promise you we will continue to do good work and to make not just housing affordable and everybody achieve the American dream, but really to bring transformation. And so that those that are in our country who depend on subsidies and this, that, and the other will get off of that and live a life of self-sustainability. So God bless you.
That's what it seemed like. You ain't lying about that.
Thank you. And Ben mentioned opportunity zones. We did that. And I want to thank Tim Scott because he really, it was his baby. That was his baby. And he did a great job with it. We appreciate it. And again, Candy, thank you very much for being here. Special woman. Ben's getting the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the biggest. That's the biggest. It's the highest award you can have outside of the Congressional Medal of Honor.
It ain't.
But it's
nobody
better because
say
you know,
nothing.
a lot of people get the Congressional Medal of Honor. They're not around.
But everybody can do this.
They're not around. They got. Whereas we don't have to go that far. Generally
Hell
speaking, but it's the highest award, civilian. And then you have the matching is the Congressional Medal of Honor, both tremendous. So Ben, I'll be seeing you back here pretty soon, I think, and you're going to get the award. You'll probably fill up this room. I said, we'll do it in the Oval Office. He said, sir, it's not big enough. I said, what? So we're going to do it right here, okay? And we love it. I'd like to also thank senior counsel to the Assistant Attorney General. He's a fantastic man. He's been my friend for a long time, Leo Terrell. There's no better. We have time, right? Do we have time? Yes? Anybody have to go? Like, come on up here, Leo. Get up here. This guy, he says it like it is.
You already know that. Uncle Trump got the words digged up off the streets.
Let me just thank you very much, Mr. President. First of all, we are living
no money yet.
under the administration of the greatest president in our lifetime. And we have the hottest country in our lifetime. And I want to make sure the mainstream media knows this, because you represent the people who basically counter what the mainstream media has done. President Trump.
If you've written a book and want to publish it to over 3 billion potential readers now,
was the president who fully funded historically black colleges and universities. President Trump.
Right.
Let me equal choice like I know you do. President Trump wants it. If you want a law and order society and secure border, President Trump wants that. And more importantly, I say this because this is the greatest country on the planet. American citizens should decide American election. Vote for this.
Thank you, Leo. That was very good. Yeah, 4 more years.
No, they not. No, they not. No, they not. No, they not.
He's a special guy. I watched him on Sean Hannity a long time ago. He used to be a Democrat, you know. Leo was a Democrat. That's a long time ago, right? Can you imagine you were a Democrat? I can't imagine it. You'd see him with Leo 2.0.
You hear this
up in
nigga,
the
bro?
hat. We love him. He's a great man, actually. General Counsel for the
That man said,
Department
"Fuck,
of
fuck, fuck."
War,
You hear that shit?
Earl Matthews. That's a big deal. Thank you, Earl. Thank you very much. I see Johnny over there with a great book. How's the book doing? Good? What a great person you are.
Crazy.
Great book. White House Pardon Czar. This is a big job. This is a big job. Alice Johnson.
No, for
Alice?
real.
Where's Alice? What a sweetheart. I met Alice and she was incarcerated for what some people would say today is not even a fine, right, Alice?
But
it's
they
not
off
even
the
a fine.
chain for him, though. They
And
definitely
I
off
said,
the
how
chain
long
for
has she been in
Donald
jail? 22 years. I said, 22 years. And right, Alice? And come on up here, Alice. Come on up. I said, 22 years, and she was on a phone call. This was over a phone call. I know about fake phone calls too, Alice, you know, remember? They tried to get me in a fake phone call. But Alice was in jail for like 22 years. I said, how many years does she have left? 28. I said, 28 years left. And I said it, and I mean, she admitted she made a little mistake, but it was not the kind of a mistake that you serve 50 years in jail for. Like maybe a couple of months, maybe less than that. And I said, this is the most unfair. And then when I met her, I fell in love. I felt my wife was very upset with it. Our great first lady did not like that, Scott. She didn't like it, but Alice is great. And say a couple of words. It was so ridiculous. 22 years, she had 28 left. And I said, let's get her the hell out. And we got her out. We did a commute. And then when I got to know her, she was so high quality. I said, full pardon. So she's cleaner than anybody in this room, even than my friend right here. She's cleaner. Because of that, she's cleaner than anybody in this room.
You already know.
Thank you, Mr. President. The feeling was mutual. I fell in love with this man, with his heart, with his heart for this country, with his heart to really bring America back to the former greatness that it deserved. And that's exactly what he has done. My story is truly a Joseph story.
Yeah.
This president right here, President Donald Trump, brought me from the prison pit to the White House.
You already know,
Only
nigga,
in
chat be
America
live. You know
could there
that.
be
I
a
know.
story
Okay,
like my story.
that's on you.
And President Trump is the only president who would have had the courage to bring someone like me, someone who received a second chance, but who knows more than someone who has sit among the captives, than someone who has been in captivity themselves. I did not get comfortable in my own freedom, but I went back. As Harriet Tubman said she did. She went back to draw many others into freedom. And President Trump has listened to those recommendations.
Big facts,
There's so much more
please
to come.
get that shit out of
Because
here.
when you see me, you see a miracle. You see hope. You see second chances. And you see someone who is willing to roll up their sleeves and do the work, do the hard work to help individuals gain their freedom. President Trump did something historic in his first term. He signed the First Step Act into law. And for that, over 40,000, and that number is low, over 40,000 individuals have come home to their families early. And you know, many of those were Black Americans who had no hope.
Yesterday, bro.
This president right here, as you look out upon this sea of Black Americans.
He had 25 years and had.
It's so easy to become a podcaster with Riverside.
So
First, go to Riverside and open an account.
This president
he
hears
fell in love with her.
you. This president cares for you. Don't let anyone tell you that this president right here, Donald Trump, is not for Black America, because he is. I'm standing here today. I'm standing here today as a testament, to how he feels about Black Americans. There has never been a position like this. I don't know if there ever will be before. But I worked with him in his first term, and I'm proud to now officially have the title to make it happen. Let's get real with the realness. Let's get behind
a
President
Black lady,
Trump, who truly has turned our nation around and made us the envy of every country in the world. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, God, for recognizing and raising up this man to be the leader of the free world. I love
you. Yeah, oh.
Great woman.
Nah, he ain't, man.
You know,
He don't rip Black people,
person,
man.
like
Cut it out,
man. They gave me somebody from Harvard, somebody from Yale, somebody from Princeton, somebody from Penn, somebody from Stanford. And I said, do you know anything about it? Well, we can learn. You know, they can learn. And when I met Alice, I said, she's better than these people. And she's done a fantastic job. You know, I said to Alice, I said, so I'm looking for people like you to let out. How many people are there like you? She said, many. I said, many? In jail. Think of it, 22 years she was in jail, and she had 28 years to go on a phone call. You admit you did a little something wrong, right? But it was like, okay, it wasn't 50 years. Even if you said 6 months, today it would be probably nothing. But even if you said some little time, but I said, I'm looking for other people like you. How many are there? Many. Then I was worried, because I said, well, maybe she's going to say everybody should be let out, and we're not a believer in that.
Still rapists.
I said, so Alice, are there people that shouldn't be? You met a lot of people, right? Are there people that shouldn't be let out? Absolutely. Then I felt better, because there are some bad ones in there too, right? But you are fantastic, and you've been great and so respected all over the country, all over the world. In a sense, you become a very big story. Thank you very much, Alice. I appreciate it.
Facts, you hear me?
And we have Lynn.
Ain't nobody say nothing about that.
It's been such a help. And Kelly Mitchell, thank you, Kelly. Thank you. Where's Kelly? Thank you, Kelly.
Okay.
And we have Dr. Alveda King. Thank you, darling. Thank you. You've been with me from day one, right? From day one, she's been there. She's been fighting for me, and I fight for her. I don't have to do too much fighting for her. She takes care of herself. Thank you. Thank you. We can say Merry Christmas is right. Thank you. Thank you for all that support for years, right? Even before Alice, a long time, years before Alice, right? Thank you, darling. Corinne Rankin, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, Corinne.
Yeah, y'all off the chain, chat. Y'all is
Deontay
off the
Johnson.
chain tonight.
Thank
You're graceful.
And a man who's been with me for a long time, and he's never asked me for a thing. Bruce, thank you very much. Bruce Lavelle, thank you very much. I wasn't sure if they had your name down here, Bruce. I was going to mention you anyway, okay? But they had your name. They did a job, finally. They always leave a lot of names out, and that bothers me. Like I see Scott Bessent, his name was left out. First time ever. Look at Scott. I'm looking for his name. I'm looking for his name.
Fact.
I said, I bet he's the greatest Treasury Secretary we've ever had.
I like that, bro.
I think he's, how's the economy doing, Scott? Good? The best. It's really, people are going to see, and watch the State of the Union. We're going to be talking about the economy. We inherited a mess, and now we have prices way down. We have energy way down. Gasoline is now breaking $2 a gallon in many places, and it's been actually amazing, but Scott's fantastic. I don't want to forget to mention him. I'd be in big trouble. All of a sudden, the economy would turn bad on us. I'd say, what happened? It was Scott. Thank you, Scott. And Secretary Lori Chavez DeReamer.
That's why he don't like them property.
Secretary of Labor, Assistant Attorney General Harmeet Diller. How are you doing? How are you doing with Harvard? How are you doing with Harvard? You know, Harvard's extremely discriminatory, unfortunately, and it's working good. Harmeet is on their trail, right? Good, good. You keep suing them. The hell with them.
Hi, my name is Tami, and I would like to give you a few reasons why you should consider.
I like the historically black colleges and universities, which I saved. Leo 2.0 said it, but which I saved. We saved them. They had no funding, and every year they'd come back, and I got to know some of the heads, and every year they'd come back, and after my third year, first term, I said, you guys keep coming back. Why do you keep coming back? He said, we have to come back every year. For years and years, they had to come back. And one of them said, one of the heads, a great guy, said, they make us feel like beggars. We have to come back. I said, I'm going to get you long-term financing, and I got it for them. And I said, the only bad thing, I'll never see you guys again. I haven't seen too many of them. But we took care of the historically black colleges and universities.
You ain't going to talk about that, bro.
And it was a great thing to do. And so many others are in the audience that are just friends of mine. I look at them, so many. But if I introduce all of you, we're going to be here a long time, and that's unacceptable.
Regular people.
Not only are we celebrating the century of Black History Month, also, as you know, this year we'll also be celebrating the 250th anniversary of our nation's founding. And the good thing, when they cheated on the election, they made me wait 4 years, and because I waited 4 years, I get the 250th year. I get the Olympics, which I was the one that got it, and I get the World Cup. So I got the World Cup, and I said, you know, it's too bad, before all this nonsense took place, I said, it's too bad. I got the World Cup to come here. Johnny, another Johnny, we got the World Cup. It was fantastic, the head of it, one of the great people. And I said, the only bad part is I won't be in office because my 4 years will be up. This would have been the more traditional route. And then they cheated on the election. And I said, now we won by so much. We won by millions of votes, but they cheated. It was during a COVID period, and they cheated. And we did it again, and we made it too big to rig, too big to rig. And by doing that, I ended up getting the Olympics. Because we were responsible for both of them. And we're going to have a great year, but we're going to have a great 3 years. We're going to have hopefully we're going to have a great century, because that's ultimately what it is. We'll get it started. But as we honor America's 250, and I can't say that I got the 250. I tried doing that a couple of times, Bruce. I said, I got the Olympics, I got the World Cup, and I got the 250th year. They said, you didn't do that. I said, you're right about that. I didn't do 250. We happened to be here at the right time. That's all that was. But we thank God for the strength and courage and grit and devotion of black Americans who have helped make America the most powerful country in the history of the world. We now have, and you saw that with our attack a few weeks ago on Venezuela. We have the greatest military in the world. We make the greatest equipment in the world. There's nobody even close. Nearly 10,000 African Americans fought for the patriot cause in the Revolutionary War. Did you know that? 10,000, and it's actually a number even, I've heard even higher than that, helping secure our independence in every generation since, from the Buffalo Soldiers to the Tuskegee Airmen. Black Americans have stepped forward to defend the flag and to defend our country like few others, really, like few others. And you've never really been given the recognition that you should get for that. You know that, Ben? They never, I don't think a lot of people have given the kind of recognition, but everyone knows all about the Tuskegee Airmen. They were great and amazing. The Buffalo Soldiers, do you know the Buffalo Soldiers? From jazz to the blues, that you know, that you do get recognition for. Jazz, the blues, from rock and roll to rap, black artists like Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters. How about Nicki Minaj? Do we love Nicki Minaj? Right? I love Nicki Minaj. She was here a couple of weeks ago. She's so beautiful. Her skin's so beautiful. I said, Nicki is so beautiful. Her nails are like that long. I said, Nicki, are they real? She said, she didn't want to get into that. But she was so beautiful and so great. And she gets it, you know, more importantly, frankly, she gets it. But black leaders from Frederick Douglass to Martin Luther King, right? Little relative over here, have made our country freer, and really what they've really done is made life more just. And black athletes have inspired billions around the globe, from Sugar Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard also, by the way, great, what a great fighter. Muhammad Ali, who was a friend of mine. I put a picture of myself and Muhammad. It was another piece of work. You talk about a piece of work. But he could fight, couldn't he, huh? Mike Tyson, boy, I tell you, Mike has been loyal to me. Whenever they come out, they say, Trump's a racist. You know, it's like a statement. Trump's a racist. Mike Tyson goes, he's not a racist. He's my friend. He's been there from the beginning, good times and bad. But Mike Tyson's a great guy, and he was so loyal, always been loyal.
Not sure if you saw the news, but Fox News is claiming President Trump is declining in the polls. President Trump responded and says Fox News poll.
And Herschel Walker, speaking about loyal, how good a football player was Herschel? Herschel Walker, now he's ambassador to the Bahamas. I don't know, Bahamas, Bermuda, is he Bahamas, whatever. It's nice, a nice place. You'd like that, Bruce, wouldn't you? Bruce wants it. And a guy I became really, he liked Trump, Jim Brown. He was tough. He'd come in, he was very silent. He was silent but deadly. He'd come in and he'd look at people, and if he didn't like them, he'd just look at me and he'd go, no good. He wanted to rip their heart out. I would say there can't be a greater football player than Jim Brown. By the way, Lawrence Taylor, great friend. The great Lawrence Taylor, the greatest defensive player probably in the history of football. He's a great friend of mine. And but I'm longer off the tee than him. You know why? Because I take the club back further. He takes the club back this far, and he hits it 200 yards. When you can do that, you're strong. He is a great guy, I'll tell you that. And all of this is a part of the legacy that we celebrate on July 4th, 2026, because Black History Month is really all about American history. And this is a big year. This is a big year for you. During my first term, I was honored to deliver unprecedented victories for Black Americans and all Americans, frankly. But Black Americans, I single-handedly secured record long-term funding for. I told you, the historically Black colleges and universities. I created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones with our great secretary, and also I think we have to do, and as I said before, Tim Scott really, he came to me with that idea, and we put it into use, right, Scott? And I signed historic criminal justice reform into law. We got criminal justice reform. Just so you know,
I see that, right?
For 30 years, you, more than any other group of people, has been trying to get criminal justice reform, and they couldn't do it. And a group of people came to my office, and they asked me to do it. They couldn't get it. They needed 5 conservative votes in the Senate, and conservative was 5 conservative white votes in the Senate. And of the 5, all 5 of them were totally against, and I called them up, and they were great. They were great. And one of them was Senator John Kennedy, to be honest with you. He was not in favor of it, and I spoke to him, and he was 100%. He's a great senator, a great guy, and you know that he was a tremendous help. So we got criminal justice reform done and approved, and nobody thought it could be done. And it's no wonder that in 2024 we won more African American votes than any Republican presidential candidate in history.
Thank y'all.
And just over 1 year ago, we had a dead country. We were a dead country. Scott just said it. We were dead as a doornail. We had an idiot as a president. We had a man that was not a president. Number one, he didn't win the election. He was not a president. Yeah, right. He was a real beauty, wasn't he? He allowed 25 million people into our country. Many of them should not have been here. And we've done. Now we have, by the way, we went from the worst border in history to the best, by far, the best border in history. But I had the support of many people, Bruce. I don't even know, many people in this room.
I hope it's for us.
Right now, the hottest country anywhere in the world. King of Saudi Arabia told me that. He said, "You were a dead country a year and a half ago. Now you're the hottest country. We're the hottest country right now anywhere in the world, and you're a big part of it, and you're a big beneficiary." I tell you what, take a look at your 401ks. Has anybody got a 401k that's lower than it was? Lower than it was a year ago?
No way.
They're double. I mean, they are through the roof. The stock market has hit 53 all-time record highs since the election. And earlier this month, the Dow Jones Industrial Average rose above 50,000 for the first time ever. Right, Scott? First time ever. And also, you know, they don't talk about this. The S&P broke 7,000. So when I got elected, they said, for the S&P to break 7,000 within 4 years would be a great achievement for the president, and for the Dow Jones to break 50,000 would be a great thing, but it's not possible. They were talking about in 4 years. Scott, they said in 4 years it would not be possible to break 50,000 or 7,000 under these two very important, call them a metrics. And you know what happened? We broke it before the end of my first year. So, right? So we did something. So they said we couldn't do it in 4 years. We did it in 1 year. More Americans are working today than at any time in American history. So we have more Americans right now working than at any time. And you know, when I say this stuff, I get the fake news back there. A lot of it. Thank you. I agree. Sometimes we have to be very careful because they actually go and it's not pretty, Leo. We have to get Leo and the DOJ involved.
Let me show you something that makes me furious every time I see it. This is a real tax return from someone making $284,972 per.
But think of that, Leo, think of that. More Americans are working today than any time in history. And since I took office, African American employment has increased by 182,000, the highest ever. Jobs. 182,000. Nearly 500,000 black Americans have rejoined the labor force since we took office. 500,000 wages for workers have increased $1,000, $2,000, even $3,000, and even sometimes in some cases $5,000 a year. That's faster than inflation. So wages have gone up at a much faster clip than inflation. We took over the worst inflation in the history of our country. They say 48 years or 49 years.
That's crazy.
I said that, you know, I said inflation under Biden has went up more than at any time in the history of our country. They said he's not right about that. It's 49 years. I said, all right, I'll accept that too. Actually, I think it sounds worse. I mean, I think for some reason,
they better
when you
wake
say
up.
The worst ever, But when you say the worst in 49 years, I'll take that, right? The fake news got me on that one. I think I was right, by the way, but I'll accept 48 or 49 years. But for the first time in many years, 100% of all net job creation is going to American-born citizens. Think of that, 100%. And in the last administration was going mostly to illegal aliens that came in, many of them murderers and others. Last summer, we passed the largest working-class tax cuts in the history of our country. That includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. And you're going to see that, you know, it just kicked in on January 1st. You're going to see tremendous results, and they're already seeing it. And I think we're going to have GDPs, we're going to have numbers that nobody's ever seen before, Scott. Joining us this afternoon, and
they better wake
really,
up.
Somebody that is fantastic, Annetta Bradford. In 2019, Annetta and her husband opened an incredibly successful coffee shop in Arkansas named Hebrews 11:1. That's an interesting name. No one thinks that the no tax on tips matters. Well, it does matter, and it mattered a lot to Annetta. And she was able to grow her business just in a short period of time and hired more employees. And she's making a fortune. I'd like you to give some of the people in that room some of that money, Annetta. She's making a lot.
Of course we do.
Come in, Arnetta. Come, where are you, Arnetta? Come on up here, Arnetta. Come on up.
Right.
Please, let me move that down.
I can't do anything first but say to God be the glory.
New world
I
order.
have no business
What is
being
the
here
meeting
other
about?
than
I'm
him having me here.
confused.
And so, yeah, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna preach.
Don't
I'm
say
gonna settle
confused.
myself. Thank you
that's
so much
black people
for
loving
inviting
Trump.
me and having me here. It's such an honor to be here
That's
today.
what's going on.
Hebrews 11:1. People ask me all the time, why did I even open a business? Why did I even call it Hebrews 11:1? Hebrews 11:1 is my very favorite scripture. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. That scripture has walked with me, it had grown me from a little girl on up. Not having no longer my mother here, no longer having my father here, my husband not having his mother and his father here. We opened Hebrews 11:1 with no funding, no money, no big family investors, no business loans, didn't have great credit. It was us and faith in God. That was 7 years ago. But I ran that business with just myself and one employee. Then here comes no tax on tips. I was able to hire 7 more employees just by what she did. Not only that, I was able to open a second location on our college campus. Things are just going off simply because having now faith. And so I love the fact of that scripture. Now, I say all of that as to trying to stick to my little written down thing that I wrote. I don't know how to do that so well. But as a small business owner, I understand how critical support is.
You need to wake up.
I understand that you have to have
That's
the right
the only thing
people
you're
that
going to
make
say,
the right
huh,
policies
cuz? You need to
for
wake
us
up.
as small business owners. So no tax on tips has been an extremely blessing for me and my business. Not just mine, but I know so many people across the country. I know a lot of us don't want to talk about the good part of it. We only want to share the negative, but I'm here today to tell you you've done a great thing. Thank you for just loving on us and showing us that even in small town Hope, Arkansas, and I have got to say this, I have the best governor in the world. I don't only just call Sarah my friend, I call her my sister. And so that's why I am here today to just tell you that no tax on tips has been an amazing blessing for me. President Trump has been an amazing blessing for me. And at the end of the day, Jesus has been an amazing blessing for me. I love you guys and thank you so much because I am a youth pastor, but I will not preach on today. I love y'all. Thank you so much.
I will not preach for today.
Don't buy that camera that's going viral to keep burglars away. Do this instead. For only $22 a month, I got a premium.
Good job, huh? So thank you very much, Arnetta. And we can't provide opportunity for the next generation if we do not also have a thing called law and order. We need law and order. You know, Washington, D.C. is amazing. It was a crime capital. It was a horror show. A year ago, it was really dangerous, and now it's one of the safest cities anywhere in the country. And we're in Memphis, Tennessee now, where it's like a different world. In 4 months, we've made it safe. We're in Louisiana, as you know. We're in lots of other places, and we have the lowest crime numbers that we've had in many years. We have the lowest murder numbers in 125
There
years
you
since
go.
1900. And
There you
that's
go.
despite the fact that a lot of people are here, but those people have been taken out. Lots of them have been taken out. That's why we stopped the invasion at the southern border. And just 1 year ago, and think of this, 1 year ago, we had the absolute worst border that we've ever had, and now we have the safest border that we've ever had. So it's going to be really something. 125 years ago, that's before my father was born. I had a wonderful father, but that was before. So we have murders are down from 125 years. We had the best numbers. When you think about it, that's pretty incredible. And those numbers are made up by Democrats. Can you believe it? They don't want to give me those numbers. They can add a couple of people here and there. But I've also deployed the National Guard to bring back safety to Memphis and to New Orleans and
That's
Washington.
crazy that you say
the
that.
National Guard has been
Why you
incredible,
say
and
that?
people are safe. In the case of Washington, the restaurants were all closing up. People were getting really badly hurt and killed, frankly. Many people killed. And now you can walk down the street and you have nothing to fear. We have one of the safest cities in the world. And it happened very fast, Bruce. One of those who knows the importance of this mission is Felicia Cook, a lifelong Washingtonian who tragically lost her grandson to violence in 2017. Felicia, we're so sorry, and you are a spectacular person. If you could say a few words, please. Thank you very much.
Trump is a fucking
Yes, come on. Oh. Help her up. We don't want any mistakes.
Mo, no, that's crazy,
Come on.
Mo.
Thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you. So nice. I like her. Please.
I like
He
him
funny
too.
as shit.
One thing I like about him, he keeps it real, just like Grandma.
Hey,
I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this
I
president.
see that, right? You heard her?
I am filled. My cup runneth over.
You heard? There
Because
she
he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched. I rallied. I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats. Get mad at me.
That's crazy.
Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing?
The people love President
Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a hush crime, you do hush crime. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on.
See that. Get your pride. No,
I
not
love him.
shut up.
I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me
Man,
because
y'all
I'm
like
standing up
hey,
for somebody
man.
that deserves to be stood up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing.
Listen to her. She going on.
And Grandma
She
said
going
it.
on, chat. She going on. And Grandma said it. Let me get another hug. And let me kiss you, son. Hey, Mo. Oh. Look at this shit, Mo. No, Mo. This the hot one for tonight. This is the hot one for tonight. We are definitely lit tonight.
Wow.
Yes.
That's pretty good. When is she running for office? Felicia, when are you running for office, please? You have my endorsement. You have my endorsement, Felicia.
Trump is a hero.
Thank you,
to the
darling.
stupid.
That's great. What a great. Well, and it's from the heart. Your little baby, right, was just so horribly,
you already
horribly
know.
taken from you.
She a loser.
Under the Trump administration, we believe that no community should be abandoned to the scourge of violent crime, and we're saving thousands and thousands of lives in many cities. And frankly, if these radical left lunatic Democrats would come and say, please help us, please, we'd stop crimes all over the place. And we're doing it in a lot of cities. Sometimes we have to force ourselves upon them because they're so bad. And I don't even think they realize what's happening to their cities and their towns. But every town that we go in, every city that we go in, like Washington, Felicia, you feel much safer now.
Chat,
Totally
y'all
safe.
on fire
You
tonight,
can walk
boy.
to a restaurant. The restaurants were all closing now. You can't get a restaurant.
Giving the money to
And the bad news is you can't get into a restaurant.
I'm so sorry.
But
you've
it's
been
a
fooled by
great
the
thing
devil.
to see what's happening
Hey,
in
Mo,
Washington.
not
It's like
fooled
it's
by
a
the
hot place.
devil,
And
Mo.
hopefully
Cut it
people
out,
will be
Mo.
coming in record numbers. And it's been. Well, I know
No,
we need a
for
little
real.
help. You need
Black
help in
man
Atlanta. He just
who support Trump. Crazy. Look at
You're
all
right.
of them, though, y'all.
Atlanta.
Look at all of
Atlanta,
them.
we could take care of
Look at all of
Atlanta.
them, bro.
I'll tell you
Real
what, you
talk.
ought to get them to call me. We could take care of Atlanta so fast.
Real talk. Hey. Man, yes, he do. I ain't gonna lie about that.
They don't want to call. They don't want to call because they don't want to
Hey.
admit it, and they'll never fix it.
Y'all think
themselves.
she got paid for
Don't
that?
forget, we
She
move
might
people out. We
did.
don't just
Look
go
her
in and
wig.
be tough
She
guys.
might
We
did.
move people out. We take career criminals and we get them out. We bring them back to the country from where they came. And think of it. 90% of the crime is caused by 2% of the people.
Y'all funny as shit.
Thank you. So when you get the criminals out, you solve a lot of problems.
Hey,
Another
nah,
way that
don't do
we're
that, bro.
fulfilling our duty to the next generation is the single biggest thing that's happened having to do with schools and education. It's called school choice.
Get out of here.
In our
Not the
great,
dark side.
big, beautiful bill. Our beautiful bill, which really covers 4
Get the
years.
fuck, Mo.
We put it all
Not
together.
the Kool-Aid
That's why it's called the
stains.
great, big, beautiful bill. This will help
Trump
millions
ain't
of
always been
African
down
American
with
children
brothers.
and ensure that
Hanging
no
with
child
them
is
equal human
condemned
beings.
to a failing
Down the
government or a
party,
horrible school.
Democrat
And
they are.
we have a person here who
In
is
fact-
fantastic on this subject. Greta, would you please come up? Please, Greta, come on up. Thank you. And her beautiful daughter.
And look, all of them coming up too. Then he told her, bring the daughter with you. Bring the daughter with you.
To God be the glory.
Let's see.
And we're grateful for our president. He's doing some tremendous work. And I want to remind those that don't know that this was prophesied. So you weren't supposed to have the second term when it came about. This is your season. And God said that it was going to be rough the first 2 years and that things were going to happen. But then the last 2 years are going to be great.
Well, I hope
and
so.
yes, you're going to do some tremendous things. And so for that, we thank you. On behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I'm from Texas. I live in a zip code that I didn't have an opportunity to have a choice to go to school. And so when I raised my children, I wanted a better opportunity for them. And I'm so grateful to ACE scholarships and all the doors that the president is opening for education. My son was in a school that he didn't have any voice, and he found drugs in school. And he died. And so I'm here today to just show my appreciation for all the moms around the world. We have a choice now. This choice is so important to mothers. I have a child that, because I had a choice, she's in private school.
Son found
She's
drugs
thriving.
for school and must
She's
took the
thriving.
drugs and died.
She's going to be an anesthesiology nurse, and she's doing great. And ACE scholarships was a big part of that. Changing education changes everything.
Thank you, Susan.
Changing education changes everything. In my zip code, it feels like we were locked in a cage. And being locked in a cage and can't get out. And because of all of the things that you're doing for education, now we can get out and soar.
You're doing a good
Our
job,
children
huh?
can have a chance to be prosperous, just like other children. And I thank you for that. This is a great opportunity. So on behalf of all the mothers all around the world, I stand here and I give you your flowers while you can still get them. Thank you. I appreciate you. Give me a hug.
Give me a hug.
And this is here.
Give me a hug.
Wow, so nice. Thank you very much. Thanks, Greta. So we're calling it end, and I just want to say this is an honor to be here. We celebrate Black History Month. We honor the memory of those who came before us by continuing their legacy and fighting for an American that's really an America that's safe and strong and prosperous.
Boy, y'all
We now have a
Friday
country
night
that's
in the
bigger,
chat
better,
y'all
greater than
fine,
ever
chat.
before. I want to
No,
thank
for
all my
real.
secretaries and all of
I got
the
another
people that
one
came
for
here.
y'all.
Our military
This
leaders are
one
here. We
that
have
I
a
got
lot of
for
people
y'all
that are here, and I want
is
to thank you all.
about the ICE
But this is a very
agents
special group of people.
and all
So
that shit, man.
happy
Go get y'all
Black
popcorn,
History
man.
Month.
Go
Happy
get that
Black
J and go
History
get that
Year.
drink, man. We
And
lit.
happy Black
We lit,
History
man. This one
Century.
right here.
Thank you all. Thank you,
This one right
Bruce.
here gonna
Thank
turn
you.
the nation up.
Thank you very much, everybody.
This one I'm about to put on now. Yeah, this one gonna turn the nation up because he talking about ICE agents, National Guards, and stuff like that. So yeah, man, you already know. Let's go.
Good Sunday morning. Welcome to WGN TV Political Report. I'm Paul Lisnick. It is a big week ahead in the city of Chicago. Tomorrow, activists and local union leaders are planning a Labor Day rally downtown to protest President Donald Trump as the White House sets its sights on the city. Right now, preparations are underway for an immigration enforcement blitz in the city and suburbs. The New York Times obtained documents showing the Trump administration plans to send more than 200 Homeland Security officers to Naval Station Great Lakes in Waukegan for 30 days of operations. They're requesting space for 250 personnel, parking for 140 vehicles, and storage space for medical supplies, as well as weapons like rubber bullets and tear gas. White House officials have declined to give details.
We're not going to tell you how many resources we're going to send to the city. We don't want the bad guy to know what we're sending. It'll be a large contingent.
This is part of a long-standing effort by the Trump administration since he took office, in fact, since just before he took office, of attacking the city of Chicago, the people, the residents of the city of Chicago. And, you know, we
Excuse me, sir, how old were you when you made your first million?
What is this for?
We're trying to get advice for the...
understand that they have a legal right to come. These are civilian law enforcement, to be clear. They have a legal right to come. But we don't appreciate when they mistreat our residents, when they go after people who, many of whom have been here for decades, many of whom are taxpayers and workers. They're people who live in our communities. They're our neighbors. They're our friends. And we now have a president and a federal government that's going after them, hunting people down.
Now understand, this is a separate effort from the president's threats to send the National Guard to Chicago to combat crime. City and state leaders insist they've had no communication from the White House on either plan. And they've been adamant that federal troops aren't welcome in the city. President Trump has repeatedly said he wants Governor Pritzker to call him and ask for help before going through with a troop deployment. So what exactly happens next? Joining me this morning to talk more about it is Greg Williams. He's the director of the Center for Defense Information at the Project on Government Oversight. Greg, good to see you this morning. Thanks for being with me. So these reports of seeing the personnel being sent here this week regarding ICE efforts and ICE troops, and then followed later on by folks to fight crime. This two-pronged approach, is there a method to that plan, would you think?
Well, I think one of the really challenging things about this presidential administration is has been their reluctance to share detailed, coherent information about these kinds of plans and operations. So it's always dangerous to make assumptions or try to read into somebody's motivations. And in the absence of that kind of detailed information about what they're up to and what they're trying to achieve and how they're going to achieve it, it makes the situation, I think, much more difficult than it needs to be.
So as I mentioned, they're requesting the use of Great Lakes Naval Air Station to house troops. Now, I know in L.A., D.C., we read a lot about these guys sleeping on the street, sleeping in cars and that kind of thing. It looks like perhaps a lesson learned there because the troops being sent were clearly not happy.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that that we at least seem to be thinking about better accommodations for the people who serve us. I'll observe that it's an hour's drive from there to downtown Chicago. So, you know, I'm not quite sure what the commuting arrangements are going to be between those accommodations and wherever they may be actually deployed.
Perhaps with the ICE personnel coming first, followed by
all the way
this
under the
invocation
prison.
of sending people for crime and handling that. It sounds like they're establishing legal grounds. In other words, the president has had challenges under other situations in LA and stuff, but it appears that the court is open to him saying, well, I've got to send National Guard now because now I have to protect my federal players like ICE.
Yeah, that's definitely a set of logic that he's employed in Los Angeles. Essentially, the president can use federal resources to protect federal resources, whether that's people, equipment, or property.
Right.
And so, by conducting a federal operation in Chicago, he creates the legal basis for deploying troops to protect them.
So in Illinois, I'm assuming we would initially see troops that would be deployed from here in the state of Illinois. But is it possible that he sends troops from other areas, people who really don't know the state or the city at all?
So that is some fresh ground that might need to be explored, and it's somewhat akin to one state invading another state. It's not something I imagine any governor is eager to explore.
Chicago want
It
ICE
may
from around there.
deal with the distinction between so-called Title 10, which are troops that are controlled by the president, versus Title 32, which describes troops that are under the control of their local governor. If they're operating under Title 32 and they come from one state to another, that sets up a very difficult conflict between two different governors. If the president, as they say, federalizes them and operates under Title 10, then he would be invoking that rationale we were just talking about, where he would either say that there's there's essentially a rebellion underway, or he's deploying them to protect federal resources.
Or something like an insurrection, which would authorize it as well. Can you talk a little bit about how training is done for these troops that were being sent here? Obviously very different from the way our civil police personnel would be trained.
Yeah, the way I like to think about it is that the generalized motto of the police force is to serve and protect the community. And and there are mottos for all different branches of the service and different units within those branches. But one set of words that describes their training is to learn how to close with and destroy the enemy. Now,
y'all hear that?
If you give me a choice between which I want to have on my streets, I want somebody who's trained to serve and protect.
You would expect the Guard, when they get here, if they get here, to be deployed to places in the city where we see crime, the areas of the west side or the south side and such. Is your expectation that they would be sent to those areas when that part of this happens, or do you expect that there's a different purpose perhaps and we would send them to Michigan Avenue, the Magnificent Mile, the downtown theater district? What do you think?
People come to us and their teeth are so bad that they all need to be extracted. They all need to be taken out and they need to get
the administration might be thinking?
Well, it really depends on how the next several days go. If he conducts these ICE operations and decides that they require protection, that's again deploying them in the role of protecting federal resources, and that would have to be done wherever those federal resources are. So if we look back to Los Angeles, I think the entirety of the deployment of the Marines was around the Wilshire Boulevard Federal Building. And so if you played out that same scenario in Chicago, they might be deployed around the 101 West Congress Parkway Federal Building, which is more or less directly across the street from the Stock Exchange.
Let me just a little bit of time left. I want to talk to you about the fact that we know that in Washington, eventually the National Guard was armed. They weren't initially, and then they were. So let's assume they come here and eventually or initially are armed. Does that present any additional concerns for you? Or in fact, do they need to be armed to protect themselves?
So certainly under some circumstances, they need to be armed to protect themselves. But, there's a very good reason why soldiers aren't sent to bed with their rifles. You put firearms into the hands of people only when it's necessary, only when there's some immediate threat involved. And it begs the question of what threat would be perceived that would justify issuing their firearms.
We're almost out of time, but let me just ask you, in terms of the National Guard being deployed here, is that any risk to regard to another national emergency, something that might happen where the troops would need to be deployed? Do we run into a shortage possibility?
Chicago, It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. There are other things that those troops are raised to perform, whether it's responding to national disasters or being deployed on behalf of the military. I mean, I think your own 33rd Military Police Battalion, the Illinois National Guard, was deployed overseas in combat operations. And if you have them, stuck in Chicago, they're not available to do things like that.
All right, we're going to see how all this plays out and appreciate your insight. I'm sure we'll talk to you again. Greg Williams with the Project on Government Oversight, a nonpartisan and nonprofit organization. Thank you, Greg. Have a good Sunday.
Bro. Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Listen, man, thank y'all for tapping in with me tonight, man. I stayed on for 2 hours for y'all tonight, man, because I love y'all tonight. Y'all know, man, that I turned it up for y'all, man. And thanks to all my new subscribers, man, that subscribe to the YouTube channel. I appreciate you, man. Listen, I appreciate that, man. Like I say, man, I come on YouTube 4 times a day. You hear me? I come on 6 days a week, and we do the late night show every other Saturday, man. Tap in, man. This weekend, this Saturday is the late night show, man. Make sure you tap in, man. We be on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Man, stop playing, man. We definitely lit, man. YouTube family, thank y'all. Twitch, thank y'all, man. I love y'all. Make sure y'all keep running me up, man. And I'm gone.